What's going on, everybody? GemMint here, back with another new comic book day review. We've been talking about this one, The Ultimate X-Men issue number 1 by Peach Momoko. Now, honestly, I had low expectations going into this one just because I was so into The Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, and I knew that was going to be this big world-building, character-changing storyline, and I didn't really expect that from this issue right here. So we're going to give you a review of it. I'm going to give my thoughts on it. But before we do, there's another book that I got a chance to take a look at that I want to talk about today as well, and it's Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. This is by Patrick Horvath. It's published by IDW Comics, and it's basically like the Bernstein Bears meets Dexter. It's like an anamorphic universe where everything is happy and all these people or animals are interacting with each other, but then there is this lone serial killer. Now, it's all well and good. This person has been doing it for decades. They go into the city, they murder people, they come back, they get it out of their system. But one day they come back home to find that somebody has been killed within their cozy little town. Now, this person is worried that this killer is going to expose what they've been doing for decades, which leads into the story. I liked it. I dug it. And if you guys want to pick this up, because I know that it's been sold out at retailers, it's been hard to come across, you can pick up multiple copies of this book over at finalordercomics.com. They've got reprints, they've got exclusive variants, foils, retailer exclusives, and they have signature series, remarks, and other CGC yellow label offers. So make sure to check out finalordercomics.com if you're looking for this book. Now, let's talk about Ultimate X-Men issue number 1. So, as we already knew, and judging off of the cover and the synopsis, this story surrounds the character Armor, this mutant that's able to create this armor of energy around them, and it's very much a new origin for this character. Now, this does take place in the new Ultimate Universe, the one that the maker has curated by essentially using time travel and removing all heroes from the board, going back to their points of origin and changing things like removing the spider from Spider-Man's origin so that he never gets bitten. The synopsis here talks about the Maker being locked away in the city, talking about the Maker's Council, and talking about the cabals that we met during the Ultimate Invasion, if you caught my trade paperback review of that. So the kind of people who represent these different nations, we are focused on Sunfire, Viper, and Silver Samurai. In this story, they represent the eastern territory of Hino Kuni, which is the land of the sun. So this story focuses around Armor. Her name is Hisako Ichiki. And what I dug about this one, and it might be because I dabble a little bit into manga and anime, it felt very much like a manga to me because you have this kind of lighthearted art style. You're dealing with children, they're just graduating from middle school, but it also has serious tones like suicide and people being hanged and things of that nature. So I thought it had that kind of good balance of young readers, but mature at the same time. We start off and it's in the school that I mentioned. Our main character is set to graduate. She gets handed a note by this boy who wants her to meet him at the temple in the mountain behind the school with an ominous message of, "Our time has come, my friend." So she gets this little note. She gets a call from her mother letting her know that she's going to be late coming home. So she decides to take her bike and ride out to the temple. So she gets greeted by this mysterious, shadowy figure. And I like the kind of scribbly art style that it has around it, and that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a young reader, but it also has like this mature, ominous tone to it. He confirms that he is the one that sent her the note and wants to hand her this little item. It almost reminds me of like a bellet out of Berserk. But the item is actually an ornament that was handed to her from one of her childhood friends that is insinuated that they committed suicide. Either way, they were killed, they were hanged. Now, she feels guilt for this as well, feeling like she could have saved him, could have talked him out of it. And the ominous figure even says to her that we are the ones that killed him. This is another scene that kind of gives me that manga feel to it, like this dark shadow with the red eye staring at her as it's talking to her, making her feel guilty for the death of her friend. And as that figure goes away, she feels something tap her on the back of her head. It's a shoe, and she has this vision, which looks like it's happening in real time, of her friend looks like he's hanging. You don't see a rope or anything, but he's kind of dangling over her. He looks dead. She gets freaked out and hightails it out of there. Now she's riding her bike away. She's distraught. She's upset. And then a car starts speeding towards her. And that's when her mutant power manifests. The armor in this double page spread explodes from out of her, smashing the car to pieces, but protecting her from getting killed by this car. She is obviously in shock, surprised that she isn't hurt. She sees the armor and is understandably freaked out by it. And it goes on to say that this is the pivotal point in her life where she would never be the same again. Real quick, this one is brought to you by THATSPIDERMANBOOTH.com. Their February monthly subscription box is live. Not only do you get 5 comics, $100 of retail value for just $50, but you're going to get 2 additional comics this month. They teamed up with my boy Comic Tom and Fire Guy Ryan for their Crashdown issue number 1, the Gerald Perel variant. The regular, Virgin, and foil are all limited to 100 copies, and there are only 10 medals. Everyone who subscribes to the box is going to get that regular edition, and then it's going to be a mystery on whether or not you get the Virgin, the foil, or the metal. Swing on over to ThatSpidermanBooth.com and sign up for that subscription box today. So it's the next day. She's trying to talk herself out of feeling the guilt for her deceased friend. She rides back to the temple, which this is the area where he must have killed himself, going to the tree, leaving some flowers, like a little memorial for him there. The shadowy figure comes back, accusing her of having a guilty conscience for coming there to kind of paying tribute. Now, the figure is asking her to join him, and it almost looks like it's ready to take her over with a symbiote-like movement, and that's when the armor emerges again, protecting her from this evil, this shadowy figure, blocking the black goo or mist that's coming to attack her, and protecting her once again. The armor smashes and grabs that shadowy figure in both hands, squeezing the life out of it. Now, she feels like this must be some type of dream, but that figure is letting her know that this is not a dream, and here's a little secret. My curse is already in motion. So the bad things are already happening here. She tells him to shut up. She flings that ornament away, and what looks like the ghost of her deceased friend picks it up, tells her that it's too late. Then she gets a call from somebody telling her that their gym teacher, ones that were friends with Tsubasa, her friend that killed himself, has also been found dead from the same type of affliction, hung themselves, and we get a shot of their dangling feet as well, begging the question, what the hell is going on here? So that's how issue 1 ends. She has a ton of questions. What is going on here? Why are these people dying? What is this weird energy? What is this armor that's protecting me? And to be continued on to issue 2. So I gotta say, I didn't think I was going to like this because I felt like it wasn't going to be connected to the overall universe. And it's not, but I still found myself enjoying it. I felt like it was a nice, quick read. Like I mentioned, it had those kind of Peach Momoko art styles to it and the nice pastel colors, but it still felt mature. I felt invested into the character. I want to see what's going to happen next. And it doesn't really matter, I guess, that it's not part of this big overall Ultimate Universe. Even though it does take place in it, it felt like it stood on its own. And I'm really surprised because I didn't think I was going to like this. I thought like it wasn't going to matter, but they actually made me care about the characters and want to see what's going to happen next. Speaking of what's happening next, so issue 2 comes out in April. Ultimate Black Panther 2 is coming out this month, so I'm going to check that out, as well as Ultimate Spider-Man 3. I still like the Spider-Man stuff way better than everything else going on with the Ultimate Universe right now, but this was a pleasant surprise. I'm not mad at it. Let me know what you think about Ultimate X-Men number 1 in the comments down below. If you checked it out, does this make you want to check it out? What do you think about the new Ultimate Universe? And thanks for watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.